Hello, I have returned with a very unexpected Planet Zoo stream because I did not expect that Citizen Sleeper to have so little left in it. I I thought I'd need those dice that I had a full handful of there. Oh well. Instead, I'm going to play some Planet Zoo. We're going to get these gharials installed in their new home that I built just last night. I'm gonna turn on the light on my cursor before switching the screen over because I'm nice that way. There we go. Okay, so at last stream I finished building the gharial enclosure. I acquired some gharials. I sent them quarantine, and then I realized it was 1 a.m. So, I am going to sit on pause here for just a little bit while we get the initial setup for the gharials installed here. They've got water, plenty of water, but we do need to make sure that they have food and some toys. So, habitat, filter, species, down to the G's. There we are, gharials. Okay, a large food tray, which I'm just gonna pop down right in the middle, right here. And you know what? We can give them an underwater fish feeder as well. I'm just gonna sink that a little. And then... Okay, no suitable species, but not inaccessible. Ha ha! Alright. I wonder if I should have sent out an announcement saying that I was switching to Planet Zoo. Now, I know these guys don't actually... I'm fairly certain they don't need a shelter, per se. If I were giving them like a massive amount of extra water, I would totally use this thing because it's really nice. But, yeah. Instead, I'm just going to take advantage of having rocks over here to just sort of pop down some straw. I do need more rocks because this ripple here is no bueno. So I will be fixing that as well. Okay, enrichment. I'm gonna give them a rubber ducky because why the heck not? I'll just pop that down there. Give them a nice rubbing pad. You know what? Over by the bedding. Put that there. A blood pumpkin. Gave them a fish feeder. We could give them a prey-scented sack. Let's just sort of spin that. That is spinning very strangely. I don't understand that. Let's see. I want to give them a mud bath, but I'm not sure if I can actually... Okay, if I put that there, then I'm gonna need to move this. I'll put that here. Because I'd like a little bit of separation. Okay. We'll give them a blood scent marker here. And here. Why not? If I'm wrong about them needing shelter, I will fix that. But for the moment... Okay. I'm going to not use the water jets. I don't love them. If I put a block of frozen fish here, can it be renewed? I believe so. It doesn't say inaccessible. Hope shall spring eternal within my heart. Okay, I'm going to unpause so that they can get their quarantine going. And let's grab filter for biome, taiga, make sure this thing is flat. And then I'm going to mess around until we have basically flattened out the ground here. And that will do. That will do nicely. As I've mostly committed myself to filling this area with rocks, but I'd like to at least get a few plants in there, so I'm gonna plant and then rock. But yeah, I do have to use rocks through here simply because of the weird stuff the land is doing. What is... Oh, feeding station cannot be reached by keepers. Okay, so I can't put the base of that in the water. Alright, good to know. So we'll put this on the edge of the water and hope that it tumbles in. Okay. 3 of the gharials are fine. 1 of them is terribly injured. We will wait for the injured one to be cured. In the meantime, let's do a little rock work over here. I'm gonna use number 2 for the moment. As my general preference would be to get some good rocks in here without actually getting too far into the enclosure, which is why I'm using number 2. Generally speaking, for filling space, I do prefer number 1, but I worry that it's going to be a little too large in this particular case. Like, once we get away from the enclosure over here, number 1 is going to help me fix the edge of the lake here. While still hopefully preserving the shape of what I have made. Back to a smaller rock. Basically, I don't want the Gharial's enclosure to be made of rock, especially after how much rock I used for their pool, so... Okay, put that away for the moment. It's time to go retrieve my Gharials. Whoa! No, I don't want to be inside there. There's Gharials in there. Grab all of you. It's gonna take a little while for them to get here, so I'm gonna have time to put down some more rocks. And the animals do not care what biome their rocks come from, even though they do care about the... Why are the keepers in here? The Gharials aren't here yet. There's being proactive and there's being ridiculous. But yeah, I have some very steep banks through this area, so it's mainly going to be rocks over here. On this side, I think I can use more plants, but wherever my bank has gotten really steep, I'm going to have to use rock. There's very little way around it. So we'll just wait patiently for the Gharials. And try to keep this rock pile from being too much of a part of the Gharial enclosure. I'm gonna go back to 2 just because it's gonna be easier. Oh, they got here faster than I expected. Oh, actually, all right. I'll give them a moment to... Oh, I forgot to put up education. Oh, they're all folded on top of each other. It's terrible. Alright. We have some serious terrain issues going on here. Oh, thank goodness they need more rock. Space, though. Space-wise, we are doing just fine. So, I'm just gonna try and get the whole area under these rocks to also be rock. Which is not helping very much, but makes me feel better. I'll just paint the rock out a bit around the rocks. Make it look a little better. Still need a little more rock, but I also... We do need some sand, so I'm just gonna run that. We've nearly got them. Give it a little bit more. Roughen it up at the edge here, which will hide the poking through. Give them a light dusting of dirt. Yeah, that is within their parameters and it feels good. Okay, Asia, tropical, temperate, aquatic. I'm still going to try and avoid the use of palm trees, simply because I haven't been using them throughout the zoo, so it would really stick out if I started using them now. So... I think this is an excellent way to start. I was right that they don't actually need hard shelter. That's handy though. So we'll give them a pine tree. Some Bengal bamboo will actually be... Okay, I know that this is going to look weird and wrong right now, but I'm going to be putting this here so that I remember. It is definitely pointing in the wrong direction. We will not talk about it right now. But I want to remember that the Bengal bamboo is the good stuff here. Let's see. We could give them a nice ash tree. I don't want to block anything for them though, so we'll put that there. I like the caphocks, but it's a little much, you see. They're a very tree-like tree, though. Just a little too big for what I'm going for here. I like you. You're too big for the enclosure, but you know, that is very tempting. This is a better spot for a willow, but no, I can't get away with that. It would completely block the sign. That, though. Yes, I am easily distracted. I like the rainbow eucalyptus, but I worry about putting too many trees in here. Yeah, you know what? We'll pop this here. Because we lose nothing that way. And we'll just run the rest as like ground cover and that sort of thing, and call it good for the trees. Actually, come to think of it, do these guys have access to willows? Wisteria, what? Oh, they do. Okay, good. So I can use a willow over here, and it won't end up being a problem. That's good, because I think this spot could really use a tree. I will get that pointing in the correct direction later. So yeah, these guys have a very high tolerance for a lot of plants, but that doesn't mean that I want to absolutely fill their area. Because I would like to give them some grass of some sort, but probably not the flowery grass. We're not going to do the lords and ladies this time. The ferns? No, that's not quite right either. I don't want to use the reeds because I've basically done the whole thing in stone, and it actually doesn't make sense for plants. So there's not going to be any plants in the water this time. I need a grass or a grass substitute in here. There's gotta be one somewhere. Like, I do have the various flowers, but I've got so much sand and rock and stuff that these are just gonna look too alive, if you get my drift. I don't want to end up using the saltwort, mostly because even in its largest form, it's still tiny. I would like to have something with some reasonable coverage. Most of the stuff available to me is domes, though. Those aren't very useful under the circumstances. I could use the lady ferns, but once again we get to they look slightly too alive to be growing out of rock and sand. I am disappointed by my ground cover options. I've got the red oat grass. Once again, pea shrub's a little too alive. The eelgrass, once again, still too alive. Hydrelia, we're not going to talk about that. It's I find it difficult to use. I think my best option is going to be the red oat, and it's going to take forever because they're so tiny. Like, this is the large clump. So I'm not going to have massive coverage. I'm not going to make myself suffer that, but it does feel weird to have nothing at all. Okay, the poppies are a little too tall. 'Cause I can get away with using something greener here because this is one of my few patches of grass left. But the poppies stand out a little bit too much. I'm not feeling the pincushions today. Or the oxize. Buttercups? Let's go with buttercups. Where is... Man, I wish I had something. Back to the oat grass. We'll use the parched over here just because it's close to the same color as the straw. I may have made all of that a little too tall. Whoops, no, I didn't want that. Or that. I got all of them. Oh, nope, missed one. Missed two. Okay. And then... Okay, that feels much better. Paint in a little dirt around the base of this tree, just so that it's not rock. It's not realistic to expect trees to be growing out of rock. Okay, we haven't changed things too much, have we? No, it looks like we didn't change things too much. I really kind of want to give them another tree, like, right here. But... You are the biggest, and therefore the largest problem. Okay, so if I put a tree right here, that is not going to be a problem because he can't go there. See, these are useful things to know. So right here is the spot. I wonder why he can't get there. I thought I'd smooth that out real nice. Ah, well. I don't want to have a willow right next to a willow there. It's gonna look odd. So... I do like the ginkgo. But a ginkgo looks a little odd next to a willow as well, now that I look at them together. Pity, I do like the ginkgo trees. I could put in another rainbow eucalyptus, but I prefer not to do that. Unless things have a very limited... You know, I kind of like that. And it does give us a nice bit of color here. Let's use the tamarind. It is a little different, especially that it's coming up or straight through the rocks, but I'll just sink that down a little. Then we'll do a climbing check. Okay. Obviously, gharials do not need to be able to climb trees. Okay, now let's take this willow. Bring it upright. Let's give it a little spin. Like that, yes. Okay. Oh, and grade 3 food quality for you. What is your habitat problem? Non-existent. I fixed it. Oh man. You know, it's not quite as bad as the saltwater crocs, but the difference in size between the male and the females is quite spectacular. Aw, look at them heading straight for the water. Okay. Gotta set up some education around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, speaker go here. Educate about the gharial. Like that. And kind of blend it with the wall there. Duplicate that over here. But it doesn't need to be as big because it's only really covering this area. Well, I will never be changing that one again, so, those speakers are way too loud for what I need, but they're inside the wall and now I can't change them. Okay. What even are you doing? Put that like that. Make it educate about the gharial. And then over here, why? What are you doing? Okay. And educate everyone about the Gariel. Actually, let's nudge you down a little bit more so that you hide my sin. There we go. Education. Okay, now we can let time run. Straight into the water. Except for Amruta here, who has habitat problems? What is your problem? Temperature. Oh. Gariel. 14 to 42. Raise the water temperature. Just pop that down there right now while I... 30 degrees is pretty much perfect, yes. $20 is way too big, though. Half size. Pop one down here. I am going to be cheating on these. They are going fully underground. This one needs to be slightly bigger. So... this one... if I bring it up to 15... we're too big again, but like just in case, I'm not sure what is going to be going on elsewhere around here, so I want to make sure that any temperatures differences that I make are just for the general area of where the animals are having problems. So I'm just gonna nudge this down to 14. That should be fine, right? Look at that. She's warming up real nice. And if we've made this 30, then we should make this 30 as well. So... oh, 29 is close enough. It's fine. Okay, and just... I'm gonna delete that. The people are looking. They're dropping their cell phones. Are they... Guess the view of the Gariel is okay. Well, yeah, the majority of them are over there. You could look at them from over there. No? Heading to Bengal Tiger. Oh, you're going to go across the unsafe path. Okay, great. You gonna go through the frogs to get there? Probably. That's the only path I've given so far. Oh, no, wait, they don't have to go through the frogs. They could just go through there. What I'd really like to do is connect this to that, but without doing something weird. Yeah, I can do that very easily. But that looks really bad. What if I came off here? See, it's the pinch off that I kind of dislike here. The thing is, this also looks wrong. Because, like, if I've got the 8 meter wide here, why don't I have the 8 meter wide on the other side, sort of thing. I'm gonna try something. This is about the same level as that, right? So if I put this here, connect that, and like that. Wait a minute, wait a minute. It's a little weird bobble there if you look at it from certain angles, but... I fixed the nubbin! Cool. I do have to... just shift this over here. And put this here. I don't feel like I need to move the tour thing. We have a little height change here, but eventually, someday, I will put a railing on. Speaking of, my doing all that took the railing off of here, so I need to put it back on. Railing on elevated. And turn that back off again so I don't forget again. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to check. Okay, no climbing on that. No climbing on that. Alright. Good, 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 good. And duplicate this over here. Actually, you know what? That feels a bit better. People just stopping and educating themselves. Where y'all going? Oh, across the zoo. The view of the Gharial from here is quite good. You can really tell they put a medium amount of thought into the planning. Haha! You know, I've never gotten a comment of they seem to have put a lot of thought into the planning. They have never given me that compliment. Why are you clipping and... Moving along. Oh no. She's comfy. She's comfy there. Okay. Let's turn off angle snap for this. Let's angle that to go along with the wall. And depress it by telling it it's short. No, not that one. That one. And like that. Okay. I need more mango bamboo. There are other pieces. Yeah, actually that is just about what I was looking for. Definitely could use a little more thickness around here. More. Oh yeah, much better. Much, much better. Okay. Now you have to use half as many rocks on that side. How much does it come through the wall? Oh, a lot. Oh no. Visually, that is very unfortunate. Wow, I managed to come through on everything. Whoops, no, not that. Not that. This? Yeah, that. might not be able to use this particular... Unless I plant it on both sides, this is not gonna work. I really want it to, though, so... not that one. It's coming through the wall. Let's see. We're cheating the senses to make this work. If it's planted on both sides of the wall, you can't tell that it's going through the wall. I should move the tree, but I'm not going to. Go, little ash tree, hide my sins. You are an ash tree, right? Yes, you are an ash tree. Yeah. Still quite a bit of work to go on around here. I wonder if I bring this willow down here. That does feel better. But I feel like I need another willow now. No, not that one. Not that one. Because, you know, putting two identical trees next to each other feels wrong. Those are the same tree, aren't they? They are. Oh, that is fully into the wall. Yeah, it is definitely coming out the other side. Oh boy. Like, the Gharials being able to perceive it is not so much of a problem. I just don't want it to be, like, visible coming through the wall. It's bad enough that we have some of the rocks doing that. I can't say why, but that just feels right. 3 trees have become one. It's gonna make doing the rock work around there somewhat more difficult, but man, does it look good. Where are y'all going? You're going for smoothies. Okay. Okay. I'm going to turn these off. And just briefly, we're going to turn Taiga back on. Because I need to do something about this spot. It's really bothering me. Decorating around water can be a little rough, but at least I know how to do piles of rocks. Okay, I'm gonna need a slightly different rock now. Let's use number 9 because it's got a very uneven shape. Now, sooner or later, I will get around to building a fence on this path. You know, just putting railings on the experience. Which is why I'm not actually building a giant pile here. I'm just covering that weird triangle that was going on. It would be very difficult to find something nice to plant there, so... Is that rock or shore? That's rock. Okay. Just need to smooth that out a bit somehow. Okay, that looks slightly less weird. Like, obviously there is still quite a bit more work to be done around here, but that spot was causing me a lot of mental pain, and now it's not. Thankfully, the people in this game do not behave like real people, or else they would definitely be clambering over these rocks and falling into the water. But... thankfully, they don't do that. Instead, they're much more on the level of, oh, I'm passing by such pretty things. Rocks don't count for as much as plants. But, you know, the olive tree will help with the plant thing. And that's also a reason why I have these going on here. Besides the visual, which I really enjoy, they're also plants. They count as pretty things. The people are passing by and they're like, oh, there's pretty things here. So that helps. That does help. Why do you do that? Why do you change at that point? That is so weird. Why is your trunk doing that? Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that because, yeah. Alright, I've got this area nicely filled in, so I don't have to worry about it. This area will have to be filled in, but I need to build this first. So I actually have to start with the door this time because the habitat entrance is going to have to be in a very specific place. So I think I'm actually going to have to build the habitat around the door, because I only have a very small area that I can put the door in. So taking it this way. I'm going to try and parallel this with the path as much as I can. And it promptly deparallels itself to an extreme degree. Thank you. So helpful. Like that. Excuse, no. I'm going to leave the posts for the moment, simply because it marks my straight line, which should hopefully make things a little easier. And I just realized that I had not gotten out my notes. Let me grab my notes. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm definitely going to have an area greater than 250 meters squared building this, so I'm just going to get rid of this entirely because it is now in my way. Now, I've decided, because this over here is going to be the platypus, so I'm going to put the wallaby in here. That way they can be close to each other. So, red-necked wallabies. 1 to 30. We are not going to be putting that many wallabies in here. I believe that I have enough space that I would be able to put 2 in. We will find out. Because I do have, like, I have over to here, basically. If I run the wall along here, and then I can do the viewing here, is the thought. But yeah, I need me some walls. And I need something that doesn't match this, but also does not look terrible near to that. Ditto with this. So I can't use this, and I can't use that, and I can't use this, but it has to go with all of them. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use some form of stone or concrete here. Probably not plaster. I find plaster to be kind of plain. And, well, I'm not 100% certain about the concrete either, because I would have to give it a serious recolor to keep it from blending with this. And the weirder the color that you give the concrete, the weirder it ends up looking. Go figure. I could use the corrugated iron, but I do worry about that being a very strong pattern, so close to a very strong pattern. And also we have the vertical stripes right next to each other, but different. I'm not so sure I'm on that idea. just use the rustic wall over there. So don't want to use it again so soon, or, well, not so soon, so close. We don't want to use it again so close. The ice wall is definitely not going to work here. We're using the Indonesian temple brick with the alligators right there, so once again it's too close to use it again. Like, you can build an entire zoo with the Indonesian temple brick and just keep recoloring it, and it does have a very interesting look if you do that, but that is not what I have done here, so I'm kind of stuck with not being able to do that now. What about the limestone? Like, the pattern on it is not as strong as the concrete, which is actually a mark in its favor right now. Like, plaster is very subtle. Concrete has a very strong pattern. But limestone is somewhat subtler. And let's see, the alligators are shades of green. I've got 2 yellows with the staff buildings and the train station, and a white and green and yellow with the amphibian house. So I think what we want here is a cool color that is not green and cannot be mistaken for green. So I think we're looking at a blue or a purple here. I'm tempted by the purple. Because purple and yellow look good together. And we can get like a really pretty lavender going on here. I mean, yes, the hyenas are purple and they're so close, but it's going to be a different purple. In fact, let's pull this more towards the pink side of purple, just to be certain. We don't want it to be too dark because we've got all this light stuff around it. But I also don't want it to be basically white because we've got all this light stuff around it. So, gotta find a happy medium here. That one. Yeah. Okay, a door and a wall on either side of the door. It's given a little bit of bubblegum. But I can work with this. Of course, now I've locked myself into having to use blue for the platypus, and oh no, the tragedy. Okay. Center that on the door. How am I sitting with this? I'm a little canted. Yeah. There we go. And that's why I left the posts. Okay, this is gonna work out pretty well. That looks like a 2-meter to me. We will fix this problem with rocks. Wall height check for wallabies. 9.9 feet. Why is it in feet and not meters? Okay, let's get back in here. And actually, we will set this to limestone. Okay, so blast it. I left my calculator away from me. I have a lovely app in my tablet that calculates this stuff for me. Okay, that is not... Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's a pity. Okay, game, what do you think I'm asking for? Okay, let's see. I do not remember my conversions, so my brain is spinning in circles right now, but I feel like I will have enough height if I just smack either a 1 or a 2 on top of all of this. And a 2 feels extremely excessive compared to the buildings around it, so I'm gonna go with a 1. That's gotta be tall enough to keep a tiny little thing like a wallaby from escaping. I know they can jump. Okay, and I will need one of these. Oh, wait, I have random rotation still on, don't I? Yep. Let's try that again without the random rotation. Okay, like that. Line it up like this. You know, the more I do this, the more bubblegum it's giving me. It'll be fine. That. We'll figure out how far out to bring it, and then we'll set the height. So actually right now, about there, I'd say. Like that. And like that. Okay, and then the viewing zone wraps around here to there. I wonder if I could get away with mesh on this. What is a wallaby's confidence with humans? Very confident. That's very tempting. Okay. This is going well. It's still strongly given bubblegum, but I think some strong color is good in this area. Okay, grab that color. Give me one of those. Now, it does not matter what height I do this at, so I'm going to do it at a height that is in the ground to make this slightly easier on myself. That is not what I asked you to do, and it would never be what I would ask you to do. Okay, about like that. Then in here like this. What I'm gonna try and do is maintain this distance as I go along. I wonder, do I want to do this the ridiculous way? Hold on a moment. The main problem with doing this, as I call the ridiculous way, is measuring stuff. Height is an issue. So bring this over here. We're going to use this handy employee. Well, wallabies are kind of tiny, so like here. I'm sorry, handy employee. This is going to get very uncomfortable before it gets better. Let's use the square. That's not the square mesh. There we go. Oh, right. Let's try that again with angle snap turned on, shall we? Do-do-do-do-do. Like this. And like that. And okay, that needs a better color. If we keep it in the purple family, but much like take it darker, like that. Going to put that there. And then since I'm going that away, oh, I shouldn't have fiddled with that. Okay, thank you, handy employee, for your assistance. Okay, then we grab all of these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, that's all of them. The employee has helped as much as they can. Now we have to bring it over here for the rest. Okay. duplicate. Too big. Okay, back in here, limestone. I don't love doing things this way, to be honest. There are people who swear by it. You know, they say it's so much easier this way, but it's just... For me, it's just a little irksome. But basically what you do is you build your whole wall. To your exact specifications. Do I want to cap this wall? That's right, the caps are all huge. Okay, I don't want to cap this wall. Okay, so what you do is you build your whole wall. Like I have here. And then grab all of its component pieces. This is now my control piece. Make sure I grab all the pieces. See, this is part of what I don't love about this. Like, a lot of people do this is like making this a group and then sliding the group around, but I already have so many groups in this zoo that I can't really afford to do that. Make sure I also, okay, we have all 7 pieces. So much purple. Yes, thank you. Also, hi Madlib, it's nice to see you again. And then what you do is you just keep using the wall piece to build your specialized walls. I personally don't love it. As you can see, it doesn't rotate the way that I'm used to. It does make it a little bit faster, but honestly, I don't know if it's worth it. Like, if I were used to it, I might have different feelings, but I am not used to it. And I don't like the way that it rotates. So I do find it a little more difficult to work with, basically. And it never slides straight. So lining it up can be a real pain in the ass. But it must be admitted that you end up with the whole thing already measured. I just... I don't love it. I have to admit that I don't love it. See, and now it's moved its rotate point all on its own. I pressed nothing. Why did it do that? Sometimes it'll even flip its arrows around. It desires my rage. Oh yeah, that's probably it. That is probably it, yeah. Like, it's changed which side the arrows are on now, so it's just... And it flipped again. Why do I exist only to suffer? Why? Why must you keep moving your arrows? So yeah, this is another method. It is a very commonly used one amongst those who do like fancy zoos. I don't love it. As my method does take a little bit longer, but I just find the results to be although it must be admitted that when you're using mesh like I am now, this is the #1 best way to make sure that your mesh lines up. My mesh will all be on the exact same level without me having to manually tweak it, and that is an advantage. Well, if you're using the grid mesh like this, my usual method of doing walls, they do tend to jog a little sometimes. This way, I know it's all going to be the same. I am being a little weird about this corner because this curve is so tight. I can't make it line up. But this is another reason why I wanted to use the mesh rather than the glass. Imagine trying to do this with a controller. Yeah, you know, Planet Zoo is available on consoles. I haven't seen a lot of builds that people are doing in Planet Zoo on console. I don't know how fancy they're getting. Yeah, I have to admit that. But it is available on consoles. And yes, I am being very far away from this corner. But it's the only way I'm going to get around this with anything resembling grace. The current dream is to be able to get 2 wallabies in here. I really hope this corner lets me. Just angle this slightly that away. But yeah, apparently wallabies are confident with humans, so the mesh should not be a problem that way. And as previously mentioned, the people in here don't behave like real humans, so they're not going to be going and sticking their hands through the mesh. And for really tight curves like what I'm dealing with right here, I find the mesh more forgiving than the glass. Okay. I'm hopefully making it where I need to go. You know what? That's gonna be good enough. But I actually, that one is not gonna be... This one's gonna be a solid panel, so... I'm just gonna grab one of these. Why? Okay, I'm gonna grab a fresh one. No, wait. Grab one of these. Like that. Okay, there we go. And this way we have a nice mesh wall, perfectly aligned. Little far away from the path through here, but I don't want to try and get closer. The people will have to live with it. Okay, and then this one goes up here, like so. And then duplicate that. Whoop. Oh. Excuse. There. One wallaby enclosure. It's a lot of pink. I can maybe do something about this. Uh... Decals. Perhaps the decals will save us. No, the decals will not save us. Like, we do have the... They insist on sticking to the edges of the walls for some reason, but these are just not big enough. Somewhere in here there's some like big panels that I might be able to make use of. Yeah, Planet Zoo 2 is supposed to have resizing, so you'll be able to take something that's like, oh yeah, this thing is perfect, but it's too small. Whatever this thing is. But it's so small, I want it to cover more of the wall, and you can just make it bigger. Someday. Someday in October. Like, I'm getting there. There are some decorative panels in here. They're completely the wrong ones. The wallaby is the wallaby's from Australia. I don't really want to be putting up cherry blossoms. Oh, those are pretty. Not what I'm looking for, but pretty. I'm not really seeing the sort of thing that I'm looking for here. I know they've got to be in here somewhere. Tiny. So minuscule. Completely the wrong creature. Archways general? I don't think it would be in general. If I could remember what the things were called, it would be so much easier, but I cannot. Festival Decorative Banana Leaf. Huh. Still a little small, but we're getting closer to the sort of thing I'm thinking of. Although, height-wise, that's about right. It really doesn't want to rotate, does it? I mean, it has possibilities. I'm gonna pop that down there so it can be remembered. Cassowary rock painting? Oh, that's beautiful. Way too big, but that's beautiful. Okay. Gecko? Also too big. Like, I went from too small to too big, and definitely not appropriate, but I love it. Anyway, Keep looking, Foxwine. Actually, wait a minute. What if... One moment. There is a wallaby deco. I don't know that I would want to put this like all the way along, but... Hold on. What is going on here now? Like that. Why is it on that angle? Okay, let's try this again. Maybe if I... Why? That is insisting on being at a very strange angle. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would it be doing that? Ours is not to question why. Apparently. That still doesn't help me with this unrelieved swath here, though. The banana leaves are still a good prospect. But where the heck are all the panels? I know there are some tropical panels around here somewhere. I just can't remember where they're stored at or what they're called. But yeah, they're big oblongs, like printed with a jungle print. I used them over in the fossa, but now I cannot remember or find them. I'm somehow doubtful they're in this section, but maybe I can find something anyway. Like, we do have some, like... We have some big leaves. I'm not feeling it. You know, I think the banana leaf thing might actually be the play here. Which means that it's a real pity that I didn't have it on there when I was doing the whole thing. What if I search wall? No, that doesn't help at all. Panel? No, that just comes up with the banana leaf. No. Oh, we're back to the teeny tiny again. Art? No. Jungle? Nope. The only place it could be would be somewhere in the props menu, but... Mural? No. I may just use the banana leaf because it's the only one that I've found. Would that be forgivable? Like, I wish there were more of these in something other than banana leaf. Like, if I could alternate patterns, that would be really awesome. But I don't think I have the possibility of that. There's these things, but they're too big. These are the full 4 meters. They don't come in a 2-meter section, which is unfortunate. I'm at something of a loss. I know I had something, but I don't even know if it'll work, especially if I can't find it. And they weren't in signs, and they aren't in the props. Are they in centerpieces? Well, I have a Mecharoo, but that's definitely not the same thing. I kind of doubt they'd be in centerpieces because they're panels that you stick on a wall to keep a wall from being boring. Not exactly a centerpiece material, you know? This is the last place to look. Well, we have more decorative kangaroos, which are definitely not wallabies. We have a really fancy Australia, which is too big. We have some bas-relief, which is not the right size or shape. Stained window badger. Okay. Not very useful. Forgot I had those entirely, actually. Very small decorative panels. Fabric panels. Not very useful for the circumstances. We do have these things, which are the right width. It's hard to tell, but they are the right width, so I could make use of them, but that's a full 4 meter again. That is too small. Why will you not rotate? Okay, this thing won't rotate for some reason, so it's not very useful to me. Antelope, bears, wolves, lattice, aluminum, wall and window cover. Too big by a lot. Stained glass. Also too big. I'm sure they're in here, but I have a sinking feeling that they're too big. There they are. Okay, so we have this one. Yeah, we have a 1x2, a 4x2, and a 4x4. This is way too small. This is way too big. This is awesomely too big. What the heck is this? Oh, that's so weird! What the heck is that for? Oh, I don't understand these at all. Okay, so my choices are to just leave it plain, or to finagle the banana leaves. Which would just end up super busy. Unless 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, nope, nope. No, I don't think the banana leaves are going to work either, because it'll be way too much if I put it over each window, and I have one too many windows for it to work on every other window. That is unfortunate. I think I'm gonna have to leave it just unrelieved the way that it is. We're just gonna be bubblegum enabled here. And, you know, since it chooses to fight me every step of the way, I'm going to get the screens on. Now we get to play the game of which way is up. Hard to say. I might have it upside down. But yeah, look at that. It's not even aligning. How dare you? Alright, we're gonna go plan B with that one and just put them on legs instead of sticking them on wall. Okay, is there anything else I should build here? Gonna be a whole lot of bubblegum. Anyway. Take this. Copy it over here. Do I have to do that on the other side? No, that is already taken care of. Okay. I have a thought. I have an idea. I take one of these. And if we take this to the darker color that I used for the marquee beams, Why? Why will you not treat this as a surface? Exactly. Why are you treating that as a surface and not... We are going to pull this into the fuchsia family. I forget if this is hyphenated or not. R-E... D... Well, it's not going to be hyphenated because I don't have a hyphen. That answers that question, I guess. R-E-D... N... E... C... K... E... D... W... Where's my A? There's my A. A. L. L. A. B. Why? Okay, and then I'm just gonna take these. Whoops. No. Accidentally double-clicked. Whoop. And did it again. Why am I accidentally double-clicking right now? I do not know. Okay, like that. And then take these. Like that. I realize I did this in the wrong order. I should get all the letters. Then get the back. I'm starting to wonder if the pink was really the right choice here. I don't think the pink was the right choice. No. You know, I think we're getting closer. I think I need to stay in the family. There we are. And we'll take this over here. Rotate. Now I'm at the same height, so as long as I get this rotated right. right about here. Like this. Oh dear. Let's try from this angle. I want both back corners to be embedded, so I think that's the angle that I'm looking for here. There we go. I'm gonna have to light those now, but okay, lights. You're not bright enough. Your default is too bright, but we're gonna work with this. Ah, we're blind! Oh, what a world, what a world! Whew. Okay, much better. Dip that underground. Like that. That is pointed at the sign. Shove that underground. Tilt it just a little bit upward. There. Ha ha! I win! Yeah. All right. Now for my next trick, I'm gonna get barriers on this. And some rocks. No barriers. Okay, there we go. And we just get these set in place. Add a post so I can bring it out here. Oh, no, no, I didn't. No, not another wall. I want to move the post. Hello? Okay, fine. I'll just do it this way. And those are all nicely tucked inside the wall, so that takes care of that. And I still have Taiga selected. Excellent. Just grab one of these. Make sure it's flat. Like so. I decline to contemplate what's happening back here. But what I will do... is that all of them? That can't possibly be all of them. Well, we'll find out, won't we? That's not all of them. Okay, I managed to do that without thinking about it, so yay. And don't mind me while I try to make it look slightly less unnatural. Which is difficult given the fact that this rock has like this really weird straight line on it. That will have to do. Possibly I will add some more rocks later after the wallabies have taken up residence, but Mostly I just needed to fill in that hole. Okay, so what am I looking at here? 432 meters squared. Now I know that it's slightly smaller than that because I'm outside. Let's just call this red-necked wallaby. Okay, so let's call it like 425 to be safe. I can have 4. Okay. Animal trading, reset, WALL. Wow, they are not considered very pretty, are they? Dang. Well, I'm just going to take the medalists then. 1 male, 1 female. Sure, that's another male. I am using this to forcibly reset the market. I don't want another male, I want a female. Gender parity! Yeah, I don't want to go lower than what my current lowest is. So, but that does mean that Rihanna would match. Okay, we're gonna get Rihanna. And oh my goodness, how long have I been paused? Off to the quarantine. In you go. And back to the habitat. There's some things that need to be done. Which means I need to pause again. Hopefully I'll remember I'm on pause this time. Okay, let's see here. We need to add the wallabies to a work zone. I believe the staff buildings over here belong to Swamp North, so they're the ones that... Yep, that's... Okay, so add the wallabies. Beautiful. And then get closer to the ground. Hire another keeper. Alright, hello Jared. You're not going to go all the way to the Tasmanian Devils, oh my goodness. Keeper Zone, Swamp North. Okay, what are you doing now? You're still trying to inspect the Tasmanian... Why? I just assigned you to the swamp. You're not allowed to go to the Tasmanian Devils. They belong to a different zone entirely. He'll be back. Okay, habitat. Not the Gharials. Species. All the way down to R. Oh, it is hyphenated. Well, too bad they didn't give me a hyphen. Anyway. I'm reasonably certain that they do actually require a shelter. I don't want to roof over the entire place, though. Oh man. I'm gonna have to build them something, obviously. Oh god, that's ugly. Okay, I will have to build them a shelter. In the meantime, I'm going to give them food and agua. Oh, I have an idea of what to do. I have a square corner right here. I can make use of that. Okay, food, water. Grazing ball. There's a lot of food in their enrichment. This takes up a lot of space, so I'm gonna use this one. And I can't give them a soccer ball, so they're going to get the little colorful one instead. Hopefully that's enough for 4 quokka. Not quokka. They're not quokka. They're for 4 wallabies. I'm not putting quokka in this zoo. Quokka officially are nocturnal. Yes, that is a sadness to my heart. Why do you ask? Okay, we're coming back in here. Because it's just going to be easier if the shelter is part of the building. Let's take that to 2. Isn't there a bunch of, like... Yeah, Australia decorative pattern stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna use the 6-meter one because I'm extra. Where is... I'm thinking of a particular roof. I just need to find it. There's like a banana leaf thatch in here somewhere. Palm thatch. There it is. Okay. So... Okay, what the heck are you trying to do? Oh, right. This one was built on the 1 meter. Okay, so... Haha! Is this gonna work the way that I'm thinking? Or am I going to have to use a flat panel before? Let's find out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a flat panel before going down because this is... The wallabies are not very tall, but this has got to be, you know, comfortable for humans. So... Where is the flat panel? I know you're in here somewhere. There you are. And then, where did my 1 meter go? That's the corner. That's another corner. There it is. Oh, it doesn't line up. That makes me sad. And about... there, I think? Okay. I keep losing the 1 meter. Grar. Can I fix this? Maybe. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have sent that away. I still need it over here. What the? What is happening here? Can I fake it until I make it with eaves? Because this feels a little small. Please just... like if I do that, and then... there is a little bit of wonkiness, but it does go out to about the distance that I was trying to go with this. So I think I can make it work. Oh, that would explain some of the wonkiness. can't I get this to line up? Wait. Oh, apparently I just had to say I couldn't get it lined up. Alright. Okay, okay. Now I just gotta make the rest come together. Oh, this one... How am I placing them too high so consistently? Why can't I be this consistent when getting them in the right place? Come on. Like that. Like that and like that. We will not speak of the clipping. And we'll take this guy. Realize he is not the right guy. I need a thicker post. That is a thicker post, but it's too short. That's even shorter. We will use this one. Like so. And then put this one here because we want to disguise the wonkiness that's going on there. I find myself wondering if this is actually upright. It was not. Which means this one probably isn't either, but it's much harder to tell. Okay, and then duplicate. We don't have the same wonkiness going on this side somehow, but for symmetry's sake, whoop. I feel like that's about the spot. Behold, shelter. It better be enough. Okay, back to habitat. we're gonna give them a bit of bedding in here. Like so. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna let time run because we're ready for them. And figure out education. And try and get this sort of lined up with the wall, I guess. Like that. And just try and keep the height. Bring it over here. Oh, hey, I eyeballed that pretty well. And educational speakers. It's inside the wall. Great. I don't really like doing this because they tend to get vandalized, but I'm going to put it on the ground so that I can find it later. I'm going to make 3 be enough. Let's see. Ooh, serious injury discovered. Well, a little bit longer then, I guess. I'm gonna move this one down here a bit. And then this one goes over a bit. There we go. Okay. I feel better about that. All right. Rihanna, Warata, Tarka, Bam Bam. Come with me to your new home. Why did that take so many clicks? Game. Okay. And once the wallabies are installed, that means that I'll be able to finish decorating this area. Hopefully they like bearberry. And this area will be, I will be able to address this. I still can't finish the station though, because I still need to build this before I can finish decorating around the station. I'm just going to be keeping an eye on this door here while I think aloud. So I can finish the river fence decor-wise. I can decor the rest of the yard, quote-unquote, area of these staff buildings, and I can do this side of the amphibian house, but I can't do this side until I finish installing the gators, basically. Like, I could do this area, but I wouldn't be able to come past the stairs. I actually wouldn't even want to approach the stairs until I've done more about the gators. Wait, I heard the noise. They are bigger than I remember. I'm gonna have to double check for escape. Okay. Rihanna, hello. Things are looking okay. Not enough long grass. Now that's a new one. They can have an infinite amount of long grass and an infinite amount of soil. I cannot give them any more rock than they have, or sand. And well, they're fine with short grass, but they really need some long grass. That's new. Okay then. But also, blinding warning, blinding warning. Animals traversable area. No red exclamation points? Really? Huh. Well, count me surprised. And putting in the shelter seems to have greatly reduced the amount of space that they have. Are all 4 of them in here? Yes, okay. So I can't give them any trees. I can't give them anything that will take away ground space from them because they're already at the, like, they've got 5 meters from their limit. So yeah, it's gonna be low ground cover for these guys. But yeah, let's give them the grass that they crave, I guess. Not where the rocks are. You know what? Over here. As long as it's not growing through their feeder, their water, or these rocks here, we're good. I could give them some soil, but I'm honestly not sure where I'd put it. Well, actually, I could give them a bit of... give them a little bit of dirt around the rocks, which will hopefully blend the rocks in a little more. So, give them a little soil here, and that guarantees that the grass is not coming up through their water. Okay. That is not the most attractive, but it'll work. Yeah. Alright, environment. Oceania, temperate, grassland. Not taiga. Okay, low-ass ground cover. I could use the pig face, but honestly it does not look good in long grass. It's very unattractive in long grass. We could go with the cornflowers. We could grass it up even more with the sand sedge, but I'm not so sure about doing that. We are skipping trees, although... No, this area doesn't really need a tree because we've already got such a spectacular one. And no, nope, 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 nope. Too far away to matter to the wallabies. You know, I don't like trees too close to the amphibian house. It just doesn't look right. I think the cornflowers are in fact going to be the way to go here. The main problem here is that the long grass in Planet Zoo is kind of hideous. So, what I would really like to do is kind of disguise it a little. Which is why I'm turning to the cornflowers, because that gives it some variation in grass height. Because the main problem is the long grass is all one height. Which is part of why it looks so incredibly unnatural. As the short grass is basically just texture on a flat surface, which is why it looks unnatural and needs help. And the long grass is all the same length, and it's weirdly patchy, which makes it look unnatural. And there's just no grass in this game. So... having gotten my rant out of the way early, oh, I do have long grass coming up through their feeder. Oh, I hate it. Ugh. So basically I'm using the cornflower to make the long grass look less like it has stress balding, and also to kind of smooth out the transition between the long grass and the short and the quote-unquote short grass that is just texture. Because I can't go too far into the dirt with this though, because it does look very weird on dirt. So I have to be careful about the dirt sections that I put over by the rocks. But yeah, the main thing with these flowering grasses is that it can be really easy to overdo them. So I do have to be very careful that I'm just not putting in too much. You layer them in too thickly and it just it gets unfortunate. So okay, let's have a look at that. Okay, I don't think I overdid it. I have gotten to most of the plant coverage that they will tolerate, but I don't think I overdid it. And I've made the long grass look slightly better. I will have to be very careful about putting plants in around this, because I'm so close to their limit. Also, they don't like bearberry, so I'm gonna have to figure out something else. Possibly this is the answer. Like, if I'm really careful about placing this, it won't actually impinge upon them. And it will give me a stopping point with the bearberry before I touch their zone. Okay, two of them actually touched them. But we're still within their tolerance range. I wonder, can I... I'm gonna have to check again after I do this. I really don't want to send them over the edge as far as their plant tolerance goes, but I also want to... Okay, if I do it like that, then how are you feeling? That's real close. I will have to be super careful. Unless, okay, I'm gonna be playing silly buggers here. Take this over here. Question becomes, can I get away with this? Okay. So, very important question. Bam Bam, can you perceive those? You can. Okay. So... I really feel like I need these as a buffer zone. So... Rihanna, we're going to... Actually, no. Undo that. I'm actually gonna move this. How are we feeling? We're still too high. There's a lot of hedgerow going on here. I would really like to keep the hedges, so I'm gonna have to make the cornflower a little more sparse. Without making things weird, hopefully. Where's a little one? There's a little one. We'll use a little one to transition between the two big ones here. How are we doing? We're back within tolerance. Okay. No more touching their plants. No more touching them with plants. Okay, red-necked wallaby. Red-necked wallaby. Red-necked wallaby. Like that. Red-necked wallaby. Like that. Whoops, nope. And red-necked wallaby. Like that, but there. There. I didn't take away any of their ground space. We have just barely remained within their plant tolerances. And we are, of course, giving them the best food possible. Oh, look at them little hippie hopping around. Okay. I just remembered. Okay, list. Check off the wallaby. Where the heck are my aquatics list? Hello? Okay, check off the gharial. Found it! Two animals have been installed this night. I'm pleased. Are you folks going to observe the wallabies? You are observing the wallabies. They went from the raccoons to the wallabies, huh? Oh, and taking selfies with the wallabies. Yes, excellent. My approval ratings can only go up from here. You just like saying wallabies. I do! And also it's a Y followed by an S, and it's really weird. Can get a good view of the red-necked wallaby from here. Yes, you can. Because, frankly, if you can't get a good view of the wallabies with this particular setup, you are blind. Legally. There's absolutely no way you can't see them with when it's this shallow. It is an oblong. The view is excellent. Look at this. Seeing this red-necked wallaby up close is like having a front row seat to the best show in town. See, there's an idea for the game, an optometrist kiosk. I mean, I don't think they need an optometrist. I think that the people who do something like... We're going to go over here to the gharials because they're the closest example. The people who stand over here and complain that they can't see the gharials in the water. That's not glasses. That's psychology. Okay, so I still can't decorate through here because things are still all up in the air over here. So there are two things that need to be addressed in a next-ish basis, but which one is addressed first and which one is addressed second is a little bit of a question. So we have this over here, which is where I'm going to be putting the platypi. And I won't know where the building that is actually going to be looking after the water for the platypi and the alligators is going to be until this is all built. So I can't actually complete either of these until I've built this. It's one of those things. And over here, I'm wanting to bring the train across the water. I want to bring the train across the water and have a train station around this area here. And that will tell me where I can be building. There's going to be another building on this side of the lake. It's going to be a very large footprint building. And I can't put it down until I know where the train station is. So, and I also can't complete these paths until I know where the train station is, because these paths, at least one of them has to go past the train station. Preferably, they both go past the train station because they are a loop. Preferably. And that this connects to that somehow. Very ambitious. So the question becomes, do I build the train station next, which will also give me a place to be building power, which I am going to be needing, although it would probably be better if the power ends up with this building. But you know what, I'm going to need power both places, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So the station will allow me to figure out where I'm building the staff building that's going to have the power over here, and building the platypus will help me to figure out where to be building the staff building that's going to have the power over here. It's that staff building, it's going to be around here somewhere, which it feels really close to this staff building, but I need water treatment. I need power. As you can see from the fact that this lamppost here is not lit up, the power is not reaching. So I am going to need a power station over this way. Blinding notice. As you can see, I need power over here. Very, very badly. And I'm also going to need power over here for the train station. So each of those, like the train and the platypi, each lead into other construction projects, but I just don't know which one to do first. It will be next stream that I'll be doing them. I will not be starting on either of those projects tonight, but I do need to figure out which one I'm going to be doing next before the next time that I stream Planet Zoo. Because, yeah. It's also that once this train is set, I will know what sort of area I'm working with here. I'm thinking that there should be another animal installed in this area. Basically, these are staff buildings here, so I would be able to build another enclosure and have that staff building take care of the animal there, whatever it ends up being. But yeah, choices, decisions, difficult. So figuring out the train tracks will lead to a bunch of construction projects over this side. Building the platypus exhibit habitat will lead to construction projects over on this side. Basically, I would have to build the platypus, then I would have to build the staff buildings around this area somewhere, and then the alligators, and then I would have to turn my attention to the train tracks. If I do the station first, then I would be plonking down a station figuring out power for that, and then turning my attention to whatever animal goes here, building up the station, and then attention goes back over here. So I would not be continuing on the big projects over here until I had this area kind of set, because, well, there's a handful more animals to be added to the zoo, but it's not that many, but several of them take up a lot of space. I intend to put in hippos. It's the pygmy hippos, but they still take in up a lot of space. The dingoes have yet to go in. I have another 2 buildings, one for the insects and one for, I'm going to call it Egypt for the moment. But yeah, it's where the train station is going to decide where the hippos and the other crocodilians in the game that don't have enclosures already set up for them are going. I mean the caimans. The caimans are going to be on one side of the train station, and the hippos are going to be on the other. So that will set that distance, and these guys are going to be deciding. Well, I think I'm probably going to put the dingoes at the far edge of the zoo, just because they take up so much space. I don't want people having to walk around them. So, yeah. These guys are going to decide where Egypt ends up getting plonked down. And where Egypt ends up getting plonked down is going to decide where the last train station goes. It's entirely possible that the dingoes are going to be the last habitat to go into the zoo. They need so much space. So much. But there's still a few other animals that I haven't mentioned. One of which would be going in here once I figure that out. So, yeah. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about which of these 2 projects I'm going to be paying attention to. But I'm going to save not looking at either of them. I'm going to save looking at most of the part of the zoos that I've finished. Like, if I angle this very carefully like this, the majority of what I'm looking at is finished stuff. Like that. Like, yeah, the river is still in there, it still needs to be decorated, and all of that sort of stuff. But the majority of what I am gazing out upon right now is finished zoo. I'm actually a bit further above the ground than I really want to be. Let's... Oh, now you can't see the castle. Right. I'm up high because of the trees. Okay, there we go. So I'm feeling pretty good about having gotten 2 animals into the zoo in, ooh, less than 4 hours. Well done me. Admittedly, the wallaby enclosure is very small, so it was a fast build. Even though I did decide to do the wall in the way that drives me the most nuts, it still went together very quickly, at least. So yeah, at least there's that. So I do need to decide what I'm going to battle next. More water, or if I'm going to be battling the train tracks next. Both of them are a little aggravating, it must be admitted, but they're aggravating in completely different ways from each other. But yeah, for now, I'm going to pause. We're going to save. Okay, the new save loaded cleanly for this one, so I'm going to be using save 2 for what I have gotten done tonight. I may well come into the zoo again during the week before the next time that I stream Planet Zoo, just to get some more rocks and decoration in that y'all don't really need to be hovering over my shoulder for. But we shall see. It all depends on my time and what else is going on. So there may be more rocks the next time we come back, but but yeah, the big projects are slowly being whittled away. Alright, so this is where I'm going to be calling it a night tonight. I'm feeling quite accomplished on how much I've gotten done and all of that. So, you know, this is an excellent place to end. Of course, if you want to see what happened with Citizen Sleeper from beginning through to nearly end, you can find that on my YouTube channel, which I've just linked to in the chat. There's a playlist there which will be completed with tonight's epilogue, I guess it was, and also my Planet Zoo streams are also archived there all in a playlist for Planet Zoo, so you can see the progress of the Nocturne Zoo from the beginning to not last stream, but the stream before last, at least until the weekend. All available right there. Of course, if you prefer to see me live, I will be back again tomorrow night, starting at approximately 7:15 or so. Once we get a room together, I will be playing group games with my friends. We will be playing either 100% Orange Juice, Among Us, or Scribble It, depending on how many people we have and which people we have, and maybe a combination of the above, depending on how many people arrive late or leave early or anything like that. So that's the way that's going to be going. Then around 10:30, well, between 10:15 or 10:30 or so, when my friends abandon me for this thing they call sleep, that is when I will be going over to play some Power Wash Simulator, because I could not actually play that last week. So I will be doing my monthly play of Power Wash Simulator tomorrow, where I believe I'm washing a mini golf course. As I remember, it's a very complicated golf course with a lot of details, so I'm not 100% sure I can finish the whole thing in one stream. I've only cleaned one hole so far, and I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it took me at least an hour just to do the one hole. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm gonna try and finish it tomorrow night, and we'll see if I actually succeed. Then on Thursday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be returning to Hades for Try Not to Die Thursday, continuing my campaign of gathering as much nectar as I can get my hands on in there, so that I can buy diamonds for upgrades. Also my attempt to escape from Elysium in particular, because I really want to feed Theseus his own hubris. I know it is a very difficult dish to prepare, but I am confident in my abilities eventually. So that's what's going to be going on Thursday. Then on Sunday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be playing Rogue Trader. I started Rogue Trader this previous Sunday. It is definitely a very different game from Baldur's Gate, and I'm very glad of that, because I've been playing Baldur's Gate for a very long time. I didn't quite manage to finish the prologue because of all the tutorials and character creation and stuff. So it is my fond hope to finish the prologue and go on to the actual game on this upcoming Sunday in Rogue Trader. That's the idea, anyway. And then next Monday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, he has enough hubris that you can try as often as you need to get the recipe perfect. That is true. He has an infinite supply. I can waste as much of it as I want. Where was I? Yes, next Monday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be playing Planet Zoo for Management Monday, where I will have decided whether I'm going to be fighting train tracks or whether I'm going to be fighting terraforming and water again. some more. Both of them need to be done. Both of them will be done. It's a question of what order I do them in. I will decide sometime between now and Monday. And then next Tuesday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be a brand new game on the channel. I will be playing, let me make sure that I'm getting this correctly. I will be playing Always Sometimes Monsters, which is apparently an RPG about going on a road trip that has something to do with a great lost love. I have heard only good things about this game, but I also have not, it's been very sparse on the details. Anybody who said, oh yes, this is a really good game, has also been, but I can't tell you anything about it because that will ruin it for you. So, yeah. We'll find out together exactly what's going on with that one on next Tuesday night. And that is the schedule for the upcoming week. All the games I'm going to be playing, and an approximation of what I expect from each one of them. As close as I can get. Or as close as I've decided in some cases. It's gonna be an interesting week. It's going to be a very interesting week, and I hope that y'all join me for it. But you know, whether or not I have a plan, whether or not I intended to play the game that I played tonight, that doesn't matter, because I still have a lot of fun. And I've had so much fun tonight, and I hope that all of you have had at least as much fun as I have, and I hope that you all have a great night. Good night!